Sorry about that. We're back in the room. Just had a little bit of a difficulty there. So where were we up to here?
It's probably my fault, so apologies everyone. I I usually break everything I touch when it comes to technology. So
It's all good. We're back. So we have Mohammed Farah who asks, is NMN safe for someone with a benign kidney tumour?
is NMN safe for someone with a benign kidney tumor? So legally, we cannot give medical advice. The best way for me to put it is, if my father had a kidney tumor, then I would tell him to continue taking NMN. But legally, we cannot give medical advice. So I hope that answers your question.
That's great, thank you, Alan. So Jay asks, is it safe to mix NMN, TMG, SIRT6 activator, resveratrol, vitamin D, omega-3 and creatine like Jay does? He worries that there could be some interaction that would affect the bioavailability or such like.
Well, thankfully that's an easy one, which they haven't all been so far. But yeah, that's an easy one. Everything we provide is tested as a group, not just individually. So yes, it's perfectly safe.
Brilliant. So we're moving swiftly on. Thank you for everybody that's joined. I can see there's quite a few of you now. So we are obviously here with Alan Graves, CEO and founder of DoNotAge.org. So Dennis Dunworth asks, I'm a big fan of the interventions testing program. Are there any plans to submit some of DNA molecules for trial? I know that glycine has extended lifespan, but I'd be interested in SIRT6 activator, perhaps hyaluronic acid, etc. Over to you.
Okay, so ITP, do we want to? I mean, every method of testing has its flaws, but yes, SIRT6 activator itself has gone through clinical trials. They were very, very successful, and we're going to continue to put it into more clinical trials to continue to prove that. But I think perhaps more importantly than that, for the layman, you know, we have over 100,000 people taking it every day, and they have fantastic results. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, absolutely. I think ongoing is the ultimate approach to what we do, and we're always going to try and do more. And obviously, we internally and externally fund trials and research, so that is definitely something we'll continue to do so. So. Mark Corticans, so sorry if the pronunciation is not correct, I'll do my best. I have been taking NMN sublingually for a long time now and noticed absolutely no difference. Why is this?
Well, I mean, the first thing to say is don't take it sublingually. That is going to rot your teeth eventually over time. You know, there is a reason why we say just swallow it. And secondly, if you want to see an increase in NAD level, then taking the NAD test kit that we provide will provide you with that. And not everybody does NAD test kits because, you know, if you're over the age of 30, you're not going to have healthy NAD levels. It's extremely unlikely. So you will need some kind of NAD booster if you want to be optimal health. But, you know, there are some people that are very serious about it and want to know exactly how much to take. Everybody starts at a gram usually for NMN. And then from there, takes an NAD test kit and sees maybe only a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, and that's how you get the finer points. So I would recommend the NAD test kit for that person. And thank you for your question.
Sure. So just to add on to that a little bit from what Alan said, I think it's important to remember that the majority of our members take their NMN first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, which is just with water, and they also take TMG, trimethylglycine, in the evening, because that acts as a methyl donor for the NMN. So just to kind of clear up that kind of optimal way to take that. So, Johans, so here we go. Is that, sorry, here we go. Johans Circle. Sorry about that. I got confused with surnames there, just apologies. I'm a 50-year-old male. How long before I can see a result? It's been almost 3 weeks before I started taking.
So how long you have to wait until you see the result is dependent on the person. Every body, two separate words, is different. We do see some commonalities, but also there are people that take products on day one, they feel incredible, and there are some people who take it for 2 years, don't feel any different, and of course that's a good thing because they're 2 years older and they still feel the same as they did.
Yeah.
But I think this person, I forget the name, but if this person has been taking it for 3 weeks and was expecting to feel 18 again when they're 50 years old, that's not going to be the reality. What we're doing is putting the body back into its youthful state and allowing the body to repair itself. So actually, I think this leads to an important message for this live and for the audience. The products we provide don't do the repair work, because aging is just essentially accumulated damage right over time, and so you need to repair from that, which is what your body does naturally when you're younger. What our products do is put your body back into that youthful state to let the body repair itself. So our products don't repair, your body does it. We just allow the body to do it. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, completely. So providing the mechanisms for your body to do its own work effectively.
You said it better than me, as always.
The pure ingredients are obviously key to all of that. So we have the next one. So the next one is a question from Anil Arya, and not sure always which supplements should be taken together or avoided as a combination. For example, no point in taking NR and NMN and both do the same at different points. Also, what's a recommended or typical supplement stack for different stages? For example, beginners start with an NAD test, then try X, Y, and Z, redo NAD test, delete Y and add B, etc. So effectively, I guess what you're saying is that the approach could be very different for many people. So what could someone do there, Alan?
Okay, long question, so you'd have to bear with me if I miss some bits. I think there was mention of NMN and NR. They are the only two we have that you do not need both. They have the same function, which is to raise NAD levels, and some people take both. I have taken both before and there was no problems with that, but I don't think it's necessary because I think they both raise NAD levels, so most people take one or the other. And then the rest of the question was about how does people know what to take?
Yeah, so effectively, which supplements taken together or avoided as a combination. I think we've kind of already cleared that up in terms of the NMN and our example. So I suppose another way to ask the question would be, can everything we provide be taken together in unison, if you like?
Yeah, exactly. And like I say, NMN and NR can as well. It's just not really necessary. Everything else is needed. If people are struggling for where to begin and where to start, then we have the starter pack for that. You get a 1 month supply or a 6 month supply, depending. We would recommend the 6 month supply if you can afford it, because, again, some people take a couple of months to see the results. And as soon as you see results, then you're going to continue on this healthy path. Whereas if you take it for a month and you don't see anything, you're quite likely to go, oh, that doesn't work. Which, again, as I mentioned in the previous question, if you've been aging for 50 years and you expect to be 18 again within a month, that's not realistic.
Yeah, and I think probably what else is important to remember to all of you, there's lots of different ingredients that go well together within Do Not Age's portfolio. So, for example, if you're wanting to focus on healthy skin, we have things like CoQ10, we have hyaluronic acid, we have hydrolyzed collagen peptides. If you're wanting to focus on removing senescent cells, we have things like fisetin or fisetin, quercetin, etc. There's lots of mini combinations that you can do within our full portfolio. But as Alan said, the starter pack now in 2 sizes is a great place to start. So Johnny Woodis Fields. Is it safe to take a high dosage of NMN, and would you say, what would you say could be the maximum dosage? And would it be dependent on age and size, weight, etc.?
No, it wouldn't. I think the standard dosage is a gram a day, and I would believe that everybody 30 and above should start on that. And clinically proven, the maximum dosage is 3 grams. I would suggest the actual safe dosage is a lot higher, but I've never seen any using NAD test kits. I've never seen anybody that needs even 3 grams, never mind more. There's quite a few people that need 2 grams, 1.5, 1. Some people only need 500 milligrams. I think I've seen a couple of 2.5s. I've never seen someone that needs 3 grams. So I think that's certainly too much.
Yeah, I think it's always quite a common question, I know, with our support team as well, in terms of that amount. Ultimately, it is an individualized approach and people have to make their own decisions, but the reason we have an incredible amount of members, so we have lots of feedback and data from the last few years over what people decide to do for their protocol. So yeah, that's absolutely great. So Ken, thank you, Ken, for your question. Very good one. Can the supplements be kept in the refrigerator with a tightly closed top? Does that help with degradation at all?
The refrigerator will not help much, but the tightly closed lid definitely will. I would, again, good message for everyone out there. For any supplement you have, keep the lid securely fastened every time. Push it down extra hard to make sure. You should hear it click in or screw in, or however your top is. The refrigerator isn't needed, unless you're living in the outdoors, in the outback. You don't need the refrigerator, but keeping the lid secure, keeping air out is very, very important.
Yeah, so is it fair to say that the usual kind of out of direct sunlight in a cool, dry place is going to be sufficient enough for that? So, okay, Nancy, can I take NMN supplements for more than 1 year if there is a break of several months?
Okay, Nancy, I'm not quite sure what you're getting at, but I have been taking NMN for over 3 years now with no break. I certainly wouldn't recommend a break. I don't know if your question was more towards you've had a break and you want to know if you can go back to it. If that's the case, then yes, you can. If you hadn't had a break yet, I certainly wouldn't recommend one. If you want to be doubly sure, again, you can check your NAD levels using the NAD test kit.
Yeah, okay. So, and I think as well, probably just to a little further on Alan's point there, in terms of the testing, that's a lot of the times where it comes in, because if you were worried that your NAD levels had become like really high after taking it for a number of times, that's where we can retest and things like that. So, Misty Jorek, 56 years old, menopausal woman, taking 1 gram of NMN and 500 milligrams of resveratrol daily. What other supplements should I add? And is my dosage correct for NMN and resveratrol? My goal is aging health or healthy aging.
I mean, we can only provide the standardized dosages. Ultimately, I believe I personally take more resveratrol than that. But as we've mentioned over the emails over the past year or so, and maybe 2 years, is that everyone should be the CEO of their own health, including you, Misty. And that means that you have to make that decision. I and the team can make recommendations, but ultimately it's up to you what you put in your body. For me, I take a little bit more than 1 gram of NMN, and I take 1 gram of resveratrol every day. And should you add anything else? Well, we don't provide anything that we don't think is necessary. So, but a lot of people have an issue with taking 30 supplements a day. Thankfully, I don't. But I think if there was one to add, it would be SIRT6 Activator. That is the most powerful supplement, and it's also our most popular supplement. And I think it's that for a reason. So.
No, absolutely makes sense. So. We've just had a question through on the live feed. Let me just try and see if I can pull that off. So, Raf Coach, thank you for your question. How do you know that your brand is effective within this market, and what makes your brand different than the others? Great question, Raf.
How do I know that my brand is effective in this market? I think if that's more of a business question, then I guess over time, consumers will tell you because they spend their money. and if that's decreasing, then you're less effective over time, and if that's increasing, then you're being effective. What was the second half?
So what makes your brand different than the others?
So yeah, again, I think this is a big misconception that we have a lot of, and the misconception is because from a consumer perspective, they go on someone's website, they can buy NMN, they can buy resveratrol, and so they might think they're all the same. But DoNotAge.org is a research organisation, a health research organisation, and we put our profits back into clinical trials. We run our own clinical trials. We work with a lot of labs around the world to fund their clinical trials. We help with methodologies. There are many, many labs, more and more so, this is becoming more common, that have funding already and are just coming to us for ingredients, because when you're doing a clinical trial, it's very, very important to have the most pure ingredient, because if you want to really know what quercetin does, or what was the recent one with NMN and bees, they wanted to look at...
the Bumblebee trial.
Yeah. There's a trial where they're using, it's not us, they're using our NMN, but it's not us doing the trial. They just came to us for the product on bumblebees to see if it will reverse the negative effects of these harmful chemicals they put on plants. And then of course the next stage is to put that into humans. And so I think the big difference with us is, as well as what I mentioned earlier about dosage, we dose all of our ingredients for health outcomes, and we look at price last. That's one big difference, but the major difference I would say is the fact that we're a health research organisation, and as far as my knowledge, there are no others like that. There's a lot of supplement brands, but that's a very different thing, because their number one focus is profit, and our number one focus is health. So hopefully that answers the question.
Thank you for that, Raf. We don't have time for all of the live questions, but we will try and answer some as we move on. I think we may have already answered this, but we'll just snap into it because I don't want to miss your question out, John. So John writes, I'm 83, how much NMN should I be taking?
Well, first of all, congratulations, John, for being on your health journey at the ripe age of 83. I hope you're doing very well. I would again recommend to start on 1 gram per day, because I think this is enough for most people. I am an outlier in that I take more than that, but again, I don't want my NAD levels in the healthy range, I want mine in the optimal range, so I take a bit more. But 1 gram per day is what I would recommend, and then after around a month, test your NAD levels, and then one of the team here, once you get your results, will give you a personalised recommendation.
Yeah, brilliant. That is great. So, David Bezalel, what is the best method to take pure NMN, and can it be taken on an empty stomach?
Yes, it can be taken on an empty stomach, and it should be. And the best way to take it, David, is to swallow it. So whether that's in a capsule, or whether you have powder and you want to mix it with water, or even your morning coffee, as long as you mix it straight away and drink it straight down, it will still work just the same.
Okay, so the next one, obviously there's been some news about this in the past and recently, so I imagine this is why it's here. Do you have a revised opinion on resveratrol?
No. I'll expand if you
Just
like.
a touch, if you could.
Okay. I mean, no is the short answer, but I think the reason this has been asked is because videos were made, and we had that in the past with SIRT6 activator, which is obviously the most powerful supplement. Nobody argues with it anymore. But there was a period when it first came out when somebody made a video, and the questions were asked, and of course science eventually proves it wrong. So just because a new video has come out does not mean any scientific evidence has come to light. That's what I would say. But the short answer is no.
Yeah, I think it's really important to mention these points, and thank you, Hunt, for your question. So Chuck Harper Road, what about astaxanthin and a phosphorylated form of krill oil? Is there a chance these could be offered in the future?
Yes, there's a chance anything could be offered in the future if we put it through testing and it has a beneficial effect on human health. But it's funny that he meant one of those ingredients, I won't say which one. One of those ingredients is in advanced testing right now, for us. So I couldn't possibly comment, Chuck, on which one it is. But yeah, we will make sure that something extends healthy lifespan first, and then once we can prove that it works, we then look at if we can add value to the marketplace, as in, is there already something better out there? And if we can add that value, then you will see it on our website. And of course, we'll email out about it as well.
Okay, brilliant. So we have Alan Edwall. Do you use synthetic vitamins and minerals in all of your products? Do any of your products use whole food ingredients?
Who asked that question?
So that's Alan.
Alan.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you've got a good name, Alan. I think the answer is that it varies. Back in sort of 2019, we were 100% whole foods. And then over time, as more and more human testing sort of came into place, we proved that that's not always the best option. I think for a lot of us, logically, it seems it would be, but the science proved us wrong. A good example of that is resveratrol. If you get your resveratrol from a red wine blend or some grape extract or whatever they have these words they use, and it usually just means a lower content of resveratrol, then you're not actually getting what you need. So, pure high quality resveratrol is white in color or slightly off white.
Yeah.
And I think synthetic resveratrol is the only way to get it 99% plus purity. Any natural source, the maximum you can get is 98%. So again, it's going to be more effective the purer it is. And of course, sometimes the shoe is on the other foot as well, because berberine is actually better from the barberry plant than anything we can create synthetically. So no, we're not 100% whole food, and there's a good reason for that, but we used to be.
Okay, brilliant. Just going to go back because I think it's important to clear this one up. So something off the live feed again. I think Raf's asked another question. Basically, I think I can see Raf lives in Italy. Could he purchase? Or could there be a problem not getting them to Italy, etc.?
Yes, Raf, did you say?
Yes.
Raf, you can purchase from Italy. We have a warehouse in the European Union, so anybody that orders from our website, donotage.org, and it's all automated, so everybody uses the same website. If you're in the USA, it comes from our USA warehouse and manufacturing there. Same in the UK, same everywhere, and the European Union is no different. So it will recognize your address as being Italian, and it will send it from within the European Union. So there's no extra taxes, fees or anything. And of course there's free delivery as well.
Perfect. Yeah, I just thought we'd clear that one up. So